finally finished the fireplace in our bedroom. I'm gonna walk you through step by step how I built it so you can build your own too. So follow along, let's get started. If you don't have floating floors like I do, or you don't want this fireplace to be permanent, you can definitely skip this step and move on to framing. If you have a floating floor and you're putting something heavy on it like a fireplace or kitchen cabinets, it's best to cut the place out that you're going to put the fireplace. This allows it to move with the seasons and prevents buckling. First, let's find the studs. After finding the studs on the wall, I used 1x6 common boards and I screwed them into those wall studs. I used 3 of these and I made sure that they were exactly in the center of the wall. And this is going to be really important when you're framing. The sides of the fireplace frame is basically just one long rectangle with extra supports. I just screwed them in from each side and all I used were 2x4s. These 2x4 sides screw into those 1x6 common boards, and that's what makes the whole thing really nice and sturdy. The front of the fireplace requires a little extra support, and this will depend if you're installing a TV or not, but I had to make sure that I had the exact distance for the fireplace insert or it wouldn't fit. You can refer to your instruction manual for this. They should have an entire list of the measurements. And then I added framing for the TV because we are gonna put a TV on this, despite me not wanting it, but I let my husband have this one because he wanted it. I installed the front of the frame and then screwed it into those sides. To finish off the wall, I'm using 1/2-inch drywall. It's light, so it's pretty easy to handle. All you do is lift it up, and honestly, if you just get one screw in, it will hold the whole thing up for you, and then you can place screws about every 8 inches or so on each stud. I flush trimmed the sides and cut out the opening with a flush trim saw. Honestly, a router would be a lot faster with a flush trim bit, but I really did not want the mess, so flush trim saw it is. I definitely got a good workout with this one. For the sides, I left even more of an overhang so I could just score and snap them. This just makes it a lot easier to ensure those sides are flush so I can cover them up with corner beads. Mudding and taping is probably my least favorite thing to do, but this really ensures that you have the best finish. The secret to this is using varying sizes of knives. So for the first coat of the joint compound, you're gonna start with the smallest knife. For the second coat, you're gonna start with a medium-sized knife. And for the third coat, you're gonna go with the largest knife. And this feathers it out so you don't have to sand as much. Then I used metal corner beads. I just screwed these right in and then I added the joint compound. And again, you're gonna feather it out as much as possible. You're gonna have to do multiple coats. If you're using pre-mixed joint compound, it usually takes about 24 hours to dry between coats, or you can use the mud, which dries really quickly. While that was drying, I installed the electric fireplace. We're gonna sand this smooth and then apply primer. I sanded the whole wall with 220 grit. Ground the drywall sanded, it's ready for primer. And primer with this is so important because you don't want the joint compound to show through the paint. I always like to use these tack cloths, and they're basically like these sticky cloths that get all the dust off of the drywall. Like gross sticky feeling. Now it's time for primer. I do not recommend the primer that is specifically for drywall. I like to use a really thick primer. Kills makes a great primer, and if you have a Menards near you, Dutch White also makes a great primer. The mantle I chose hangs on a French cleat, so I just had to mark the height and then screw it right into the wall studs. In hindsight, I should have added more blocking for the framing for the mantle. Okay, it's time to install some crown molding. I do plan on moving this attic access eventually, but I really did not want to go through that entire process, so I'm just gonna remove the trim before I install the crown. We did it. Now that that's installed, it was time to paint. When I'm painting, I like to roll it on and then I like to back roll lightly, and this prevents any streaks in the final coat. Now it's time for the final touches. I added a sconce. For these sconces, they were hardwired, so I had to figure out a way to turn them into a plug-in. I just used a lamp cord kit and I just twisted the wires together and then capped them off. Then I snaked the cord into the back of the wall, and before you all come at me, don't worry, I added a access panel into the side of the fireplace so I can easily access those plugs. So there's no hazard here and it's all up to code. Now I have this so I can access it. All right, so the first thing I have to do is find the center. So I start right there. To make life easier on myself, I just used pre-mixed thin set for the tile. I made sure to put the thin set on the wall, and then I also back buttered each tile because these tiles are pretty heavy, so they're going to need a lot of thin set to stick to the wall. Since I used a glazed clay brick, I was an absolute mess after cutting all of them, but it's gonna be worth it. I also used a pre-mixed grout in black. I like to just push it right into the grout joints. Then with a damp sponge, I move in circles to get all the excess out and then wipe it with microfiber. Then I installed the baseboard to finish it all off, caulked. And this is the before and the after. I still need to finish painting the entire room, and I'm going to be building a new dresser, but for now I get to enjoy this cozy fireplace. How do you think it turned out?